Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you're all having a great week of training. Today's topic, I wanted to cover how to run a half marathon in 1 hour, 20 minutes. And that comes out to 6 minutes and 6 seconds per mile, or 3 minutes and 47 seconds per kilometer. And I think when you're gonna run fast over any type of distance from 10K all the way up to the marathon distance, it's absolutely critical that you do build your volume. You have to start focusing more of your attention on training below your goal half marathon race pace in order to get that pace to feel more manageable in the race. Anybody that's going after a half marathon in a sub 1 hour and 20-minute goal has to have great physiological training, has to have great physical training, as well as also had to have rehearsed numerous times seeing themselves going under that 1 hour and 20-minute half marathon barrier, because it's more than just the physical training. I mean, we always talk about doing tempo runs, doing long runs, getting out on the track and doing repeat intervals, but it's absolutely essential that you do not neglect mental training, rehearsing, and continuing to see yourself over and over again doing what you want to do before you do it. And this is it's a tactic that I used throughout my career as an athlete, as a middle distance runner, all the way up to the marathon distance. Mental rehearsal, seeing yourself competing at the level that you're wanting to compete at. And in order to do that, you can't neglect any variable that goes into running a fast half marathon time. 1 hour and 20 minutes for 13.1 miles or 21.1 kilometers, you're definitely going to have to build that foundation, build that 3 to 4 weeks of easy, relaxed aerobic base mileage first. I always talk about, before you start any type of training plan, whether it's you're training for the mile, you're training for the 5K, 10K, half marathon, or the marathon distance, or 50K even, you need to first have built at least a few weeks of easy, relaxed mileage before you start focusing on training at specific intensities. And specific, what I mean is you're training either at slightly above goal race pace, which in your case is 6 minutes 6 seconds, or 3 minutes and 47 seconds per kilometer. So you have to spend a mixture of training well below that pace. And when I mean well below, I'm talking about running at paces that are closer to around 535, 540 mile pace, and 315 to 320 kilometer pace. So you just have to monitor how much of your weekly volume are you preparing, are you practicing running at or below 1 hour and 20-minute half marathon goal race pace. Again, very, very competitive time. You do have to focus first on that 3 to 4 weeks easy base mileage. Also focus on gradual build-up, gradual lengthening of your long runs. I do talk about alternating, doing a varied pace long run, followed the next week by an easy relaxed long run. But you also first have to spend a few weeks of that build-up just running long and getting to a point where you're gradually running for longer periods. You're spending more time on your legs before you start implementing those faster, varied pace long runs that I talk about. It's a process that's involved, so you do have to first build your aerobic base and then start focusing on anaerobic training. And I do believe in a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper, because I think a lot of athletes, they start easing up they start dropping their volume, they start lessening their intensity 3 weeks out before their main half marathon or main race, whatever they're going for, whether it's a 5K, mile, whatever race they're going for. The big mistake most runners make is they start dropping volume and start dropping intensity too soon. So what I do with my training plans and on the running courses I teach is I focus on a 10-day taper. So we continue to remind our legs of what we're training them to do up until 10 days out from the main race. And usually about 10 days out, we drop volume by about 50%, but intensity just stays the same up until the last 2 weeks leading into the big race. Volume slightly, definitely we start dropping volume, but we also increase intensity, but the volume of that intensity in terms of the intervals is lessened. So it's just they're maintenance type workouts, because at that point, once you're 2 weeks, 10 days out from your main race, the majority of your hard work has already been done. So, but to run under, in terms of how to run a half marathon under 1 hour and 20 minutes, yes, you do have to get on the track. You have to implement one VO2 max workout per week. You have to start focusing on longer tempo runs, not just short tempo runs, because a short tempo run like a 3 to 4 mile tempo is definitely going to give you a huge physiological boost. But we're talking about running a half marathon. So you want to build that strength and stamina. So if you're training for a mile or you're training for a 5K or 10K, a 3 or 4 mile tempo run is going to be sufficient. You don't really have to run that much farther. A 5 miles, 6 mile tempo is solid for those types of events. But if you're focusing on running an hour and 20 minutes, you have to build that strength and stamina that you're going to need to be able to sustain 6:06 mile pace for 13.1 miles, or 3 minutes and 47 seconds for 21.1 kilometers. So again, it's about working on your speed development, doing strides two to three times per week. And what I do as I sprinkle those in the training plans and in the running courses that I talk about, the running courses that I have are much more in depth. They're video tutorials where we cover specific topics like heart rate monitor training, mindset, nutrition, and at the end of the course is the training plan itself, and that walks you through from week 1 through week 16. And now you're going to be seeing on RunDreamAchieve.com, we also now have 8, 12, and 16 week training plans for most of the events. I'm still working on the other events, so you may see some events that don't have 8-week or 12-week options, but they will eventually. But you will see now on RunDreamAchieve.com, if you're training for a half marathon and you want to go under this an hour and 20 minutes, and you want to focus more on a 12-week buildup, or maybe an 8-week buildup, then those options are there for you. I definitely recommend, if you can, and if your time permits, to focus on a 16-week buildup leading into your main half marathon. Again, you just have more time to train. If you're focusing on doing a 12-week block, then again, start running easy, relaxed mileage 3 to 4 weeks before you start that 12-week block of training. So it's just, again, you're strengthening the muscles, tendons, ligaments. You're just getting your body prepared to be able to go out and handle those workouts that you'll be starting to do once you get into a 8, 12, or 16-week buildup for your half marathon. Proper pacing in the half. If you're going to run an hour and 20 minutes, you have to be very smart mentally in the race as well, because a lot of athletes go far too aggressive in the early stages of the race, and they pay for it in the end. You have to focus on your pacing. Again, it's 6:06 mile pace. So it's if you're going out 6:30s the first couple miles, that's fine. You're much slower. You're going to be much slower than goal race pace, but you can make up for that. You can start dropping some 5:50s, 5:40s, 6:0s, and I'm talking miles, kilometers. It's going to be the same way. If you go out 3:50s, 4:0s the first few kilometers, then you can start dropping some 3:30s, some 3:40s, and again, average out to 3 minutes and 47 seconds per kilometer for those 21.1 kilometers. So that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of athletes make, is they just run too aggressive. They get too hyped up in the early stages of the race because they see other runners taking off. I ran my best races when I was a little bit more conservative, but I also ran my PR in the marathon when I was extremely aggressive, went out way too fast. I went out 107.09 the first half, came back with a 112.25 to run 219.35. So sometimes you can do a positive split, but it's very important that you learn. It's better to do a negative split where you're running, you're going through that first half a little bit slower, and you come back harder in the second half, or even maintain your pace in the second half when everybody else is slowing down. So the types of workouts I always focused on with the half marathon is doing intervals, longer intervals on the road. So examples of that might be 3 to 4 5K repetitions on the road. Or doing longer tempo runs, anywhere from 30 minutes to 1 hour, of doing 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. And again, focusing on that 1 minute hard, you want to make sure that you're running much faster than 6:06 mile pace, preferably around 5 minute mile pace on that hard 1 minute section, and then drop it to like 7 minute mile pace or 7:30. Again, you're going to have to adjust how you feel during that workout, but make sure that you are punching the gas on those hard sessions, because again, you want to make sure that you get 6:06 mile pace, 3 minute 47 second kilometer pace to feel manageable. You want to make sure that you're hurting in the last 2 to 3 miles of the race rather than the first 3 to 5 miles of the race. And again, if you're going out far too aggressive and you get hyped up with the crowd, it's very difficult to be able to pick up the pace or even sustain pace in the latter stages of half marathon, because you've gone into oxygen debt. Again, you may be able to finish the race, but the biggest hurdle for most runners is pace sustainment. So I hope this video was helpful for you in how to run a half marathon under 1 hour 20 minutes. Again, focus on getting one VO2 max workout per week, longer tempo runs. In terms of length, the proper length for a half marathon, at least in my background with it, is anywhere from around 7 miles to 10 miles in length. Again, think of how much stronger you're going to be for a half marathon if you're teaching your body to handle running at your anaerobic threshold for up to around 16 kilometers. That is going to build an enormous amount of strength and stamina that you're going to have in order to run a 1:19:59 for the half marathon. Focus on your speed, keep doing those strides. Again, strides are too short to build up any significant lactic acid, but again, you can do those strides on top of your other workouts without taxing your body. But again, when you're doing those strides, focus on your form, staying as relaxed as you can, and as well as when you're training, when you're doing your speed sessions, your tempo runs, your faster paced long runs, as well as your long runs, always consciously monitor how your body is feeling. How tense are you? So if your face is tensing up or your shoulders are rising, consciously tell yourself, I'm in control, relax. Whatever you have to say to yourself to be as relaxed as you possibly can, because relaxation is key. You don't want to use up any unnecessary mental or physical energy that you could better be using in the race itself. So I hope that makes sense. So if you haven't yet, hit that bell icon. Give me a like if you can. Helps the channel grow. Comment down below. Let me know what your personal best for the half marathon is. I'm curious. And if you have any other questions or any other topics that you want me to cover in my next video, definitely reach out to me. And again, there's resources below all my videos, so definitely check those out. And I will talk to you all in the next video.